What's good? What's up, guys? 2023. Just kind of want to check in with you guys. Happy New Year. Nah, it's not happy. Did I have made a video since? I think I have. I don't know, but I'm sure I haven't gone live since this year, 2023. I'm uploading a video about 10,000 subscribers. So we have hit 10,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you guys so much to the family. Thank you guys out there for being a subscriber and also for sticking through, man. So what up? Just checking in. What's good, guys? What's up, everybody? What's up to the visionary families out there? Let's talk about plans for 2023. I got a few updates for you guys. And also just kind of want to check in with y'all and let's see what's going on. But let's talk about it, guys. I made a video last time about the revolution in Liberia. The revolution of people are really seeing. Look, man, I'll tell you, man, and I've said this before. If you've been to Liberia recently, if you've been to Liberia anytime in the last 5 years, and people always say this, right? The more you go, the more you want to go back. Even though Liberia will really make you scratch your head, it will frustrate you with just nothing is really convenient and things like that. But you just kind of want to go. Let's talk about a few things, right? Let's talk about the video I made. I got a few emails and comments also about people building in Liberia. Now, first thing I want to say is this, right? Somebody asked me my opinion about the type of things people are building in Liberia, and things like that. Now, I know a lot of people who are building in Liberia are building certain way, right? They are building two-level building and having a store on the bottom and apartment units on the top and or living quarters on the top. Now, I do want to say this though. I feel like almost every single Liberian is building this way, where they are building stores on the bottom, house on the top. When you drive around the city, that's basically all you see. Now, my caution to you guys is, most of us Liberians, especially if you're not living in Liberia, we follow the lead of what people tell us, right? We follow the trend, or when somebody tell us, hey, this is what you should do, and we do it, right? I do want to caution you guys to do some research on the area you're at, because everybody is building stores on the bottom, units on the top. Almost every Liberian I see, that's what I'm building, a unit, stores on the bottom, just on the top, right? I feel like the market is getting saturated with stores on the bottom, units on the top. If that's your plan, if that's what you're doing, I do want to say research in the area. Make sure you're not building in area that always have bigger established stores. Like, some of these brands are having really, and it depends on the type of things you're going to sell, right, on the bottom. But I do encourage us to diversify how we're building, what we're building, right? There's so many other sectors that people are not really not really thinking about. Like, for example, let's talk about agriculture. Man, I don't really see a lot of people talking about agriculture in Liberia. I see everybody's talking about building apartment units on the top, stores on the bottom. Almost every single person that have reached out to me, that I talked to, that are doing project in Liberia, their plan is to do building on the bottom, stores on the bottom, on the top, and living quarters on the top. However, though, there are so many sectors in Liberia that we're ignoring, like especially agriculture, right? I've said this before, and you'll be surprised how many things are being imported agriculture wise in Liberia. And Liberia is, obviously, we all know it's a tropical area, good soil, great weather and things like that, just vast land. But we Liberians, most of us are all doing things in the saturated city. Everybody right in Monrovia, everybody right in Monrovia and Marshall, and that's it, right? And that's where everybody wants to do something. I get it. You want to be in a populated area, but also there are other areas that are really developing. I mentioned last time, places like Burrillville and like even going up to Cape, my Grand Bassa, um, just different areas, right? That have good population. Population is increasing, but also a great place to establish, things like agriculture, right? Like fish farming, poultry farming, things like that. I mentioned this before. You guys would be surprised. I don't know if you'd be surprised or not, but fish in Liberia. I said this, people didn't believe it. The fish that people consume in Liberia are mostly imported. Like they are imported. And of course, when you import something, right? That's gonna drive the cost up because one is the turf, right? The amount of money people pay to get something shipped, the shipping fee, the storage fee of that goods, or let's say for example fish, clearing it at the port and things like that. All of those goes in the price. But people were living in Liberia, a coastal country, but most of the fish we eat, almost 80% of the fish we eat in Liberia, are imported. Like they get imported from Indonesia, China, these Asian countries and stuff like that. I'm like, man, why aren't people fish farming in Liberia, just locally in Liberia? That's going to drive the price lower. That's going to provide more employment for people in Liberia. That's going to get you a good business. I know a few people are doing it now. A few people have reached out to me and they said that's what they're doing. They're fish farming in Liberia, poultry farming. Even, like I said, eggs. A lot of the eggs are imported in Liberia because nothing is really being mass produced in order to sustain the population, right? So they're being imported. Now, people are doing the fishing and things that are locally, the local market. We may go to West Point or Nuku Town, whatever it is, to this fishing towns and buy fish from them. But those are smaller amounts, and those are being sold just locally right there in that area. But we talk about mass, like the big markets and things like that, most of these fish they're not being caught in Liberia, right? They're being imported. So somebody said, Cartier says, so why can we fish from the ocean? The ocean is right there. Exactly. So we fish from the ocean. We do, however, it's not Liberia. They don't have like a huge fishing vessel, right? That's one thing in Liberia, right? Everybody is fishing from, like you said, these canoes, the canoe, and in the town, there's not like a really good sized fishing vessel that'll go out to sea for like 2-3 weeks and come back with just mass amount of fish. All of these things are being imported. That's why I made a video the other day about cold storage, and that's why it's important, because these people who are importing fish in Liberia, they're being kept in cold storage. That's where market women go in the morning to buy. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is, let's just think about different sector in Liberia that especially if you're looking to do something in Liberia to make you money. It's not only apartment units and stores on the bottom. We all know, and it's getting competitive. If you notice now in Liberia, um it's getting very competitive as far as the housing market. People are building in Liberia, and there's some people really building in Liberia. And as far as return on your investment, you will notice that most apartment units and people who are living in Liberia who are paying $200, $250 a month. Imagine you spending thousands of dollars to build an apartment unit, and the most people are willing to pay is $200, $300 a month. Within a year, that's you making, let's say, $3,000 a year or $4,000 a year. Let's say you spend a good $80,000 to build it. Do you know how many years you're going to spend to get that return, right? Because people are really not willing to spend a lot of money in Liberia when it comes, not yet, when it comes to unit. And you go on sites on, let's say Facebook. There's a site on Facebook. There's a guy who always promotes housing units in Liberia for people to rent and stuff like that. You will notice right away that whenever he posts even a really good unit, and he said, oh, $250, $300, $400 a month, people are just commenting like, are you crazy? What? Huh? Does it come with gold? Does it come with this and this and that? Because people are thinking that's insane. So basically, you're the housing market in Liberia, as far as you're looking to really invest, and if you're not looking to maybe wait 5 to 10 years to get that return in investment, then housing housing for rent may not be the best option, right? We do need housing in Liberia, of course, right? And that's something that's lacking. Affordable housing, that's something that's lacking. But I always make videos on here talking about how the government is not needed and things like that. I do stand by. I guess what I'm trying to emphasize is we Liberians, we individually can have more impact. However, of course, the government is definitely play a key role in the development of the country. This is where the government come in place by subsidizing, right? Because the average Liberian, when you spend thousands of dollars to build your apartment unit, you're not really going to see your return right away. And houses deteriorate, right? Things break, it gets old. So places like Liberia, where places like the United States, you build your house, it's going to stay in that condition for a good number of time. You know what I mean? Because of the weather, the condition, and how people take care of the homes and just things like that. In Liberia, it's different, right? We all know you build a new house within a couple years, the house gonna look so old and dirty, right? So that's gonna, instead of driving value all the way up, may not as much drive value high up as you may think, or um may probably even bring that value down a little bit, right? So getting a return on your investment is going to take a little longer time. So that's a good investment, though. That's something that you're sure to get your money back, but I'm just saying it's going to take a lot longer. So those of you, I want to caution you who are building in Liberia for investment purposes and rentals, I just want to let you know that you should be aware that that's something that you're just building and keeping it long term, right? Maybe for your kids, or maybe in a way future when you retire and stuff like that. But that's not something you should be looking to get your money back right away, as the housing market, what people are willing to pay is not that much. You'll be looking at getting $3,000 a year and stuff like that, right? And of course, when most people want to build, they want to get at least a couple $1,000s a month. Well, maybe even that much, but maybe like $500 to $1,000 a month. That's a good amount of money. Other than that, so that's one thing. Second thing for 2023, I've said this before. If you're looking to build in Liberia, just same thing, I've said this before, stay away from family. This sounds bad, but again, I will say this: stay away from your family and do research and use somebody other than a family member that has proven work, that have referenced, that have been vetted by other people, that have completed projects, and also get within a country. We Liberian people, we just do things, when people tell us, it's all word of mouth. Okay, we'll do it, da 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 da. I'll accept the text message, the email. Get into actual contract. Make sure whoever developer you're using is registered within the country. Also be familiar with some lawyers. Look, Liberia is a country that, like I said, I've mentioned before on this channel. I've had a few people reach out to me and I gave them the lawyer we use. We have a company in Liberia. If you don't know, we have a company in Liberia that builds in Liberia. We haven't really announced that. This is something I'm going to announce later on and launch fully, but that builds in Liberia for people. And mainly we focus on the people in the diaspora, because guess, man, I'll tell you, I know how hard it is to get every dollar in these countries, in America, or Europe, wherever it is. The money you get, you work. I mean, like, you actually work for it. So for you to just give it to somebody who will squander it, who doesn't really see the value, who just think you're in America or you're in diaspora, so you got money. So that's why we established that company, because we truly know what it takes to get your just $100. You work. I mean, this America don't play. You clock in, you work every single minute for the money you get. So to just give it to somebody to squander or misuse it or try to eat your eyeball because you think you're in America, we hear that story too many times. So for the past 3 years, we've been working on this company and everything is completed. Where we have vetted. I'll post more videos, man. A lot of things are coming where you see beautiful homes, modern homes being built, where you see completed project, right within budget. We personally have connection to manufacturers of almost anything you think about. Zing, this, flooring, top, everything. We go directly to the people who makes them. We don't go through third party who will add money on top to do all of that. No, no, no. So again, I'm gonna talk more about this later on. But what I'm trying to say is try to find companies like that. Stay away from family members. This sounds bad. Even your mom, don't do it. This is not saying your mom may not be the best because your mom may not do it nefariously, right? Your mom or your dad or your uncle may not squander your money on purpose. Somebody may just take them for a ride. They're not expert. You send the money to your mom to oversee your project. If the other guy come to your mom and try to steal the money and try to eat your eyeball, they're gonna eat your eyeball because you don't know. So what I'm when I say stay away from your parents, your mom or uncle, I'm not saying oh don't trust them or this and that. I'm saying they're not experts. They're not experts builders, so they also still rely on somebody else to tell them how much things cost or this and this and that and that. They're still gonna eat your eyeball. That's what I'm saying. So you gotta go with a company that you can get an actual written contract with and be familiar with lawyers in Liberia. Spend a couple $100, get a contact with your lawyer and stuff like that. Liberia is a different country. In America, like you got to go to court, all kind of stuff. In Liberia, that lawyer will get to the police and have the police find that person for you. Trust me. And they're gonna go to jail until you say they can get out. So they don't play. So and things like that, right? So do that. Stay away from family member and find companies that can build for you. Secondly, not everybody can build in Liberia. Guys, I want to tell you this. And not all of you should build. I would say 80% of you in the diaspora should not build in Liberia. Buy. Buy. Trust me. It may seem like you might not want to buy because you like everybody wants to build their own home. You do your own design, the way you want it and stuff like that. Look, buy. Trust me, the headache is a lot less. You may not get every nicks and cranny, like every corner and design in the house that you may envision, but the headache and the amount of money is less. How many stories have I gotten of people who abandoned their project because it's just costing way too much than they thought? All kinds of things that happen, excuse here and there. Oh, boss man. Hello. Yo, sorry. Oh, boss man, they won't happen you. Oh, boss lady. Oh, BCS, this thing. Oh, yo, the other guy came, he this and this and this with BCS. Then you just spending money and money and money. You're not there and stuff like that. Look, buy. Buy a home and just cut it quits. Here's the thing, right? Some of you may think, oh, when I buy, you're spending more money. At the end of the day, you're not really spending more money. Trust me, right? So somebody may build a home for $25,000 and sell it for you for $35,000. It's a $10,000 different. You may be like, no, well, I can build my own house for 25,000. I'm not going to buy for 35,000. That house is not even worth that. People, like, you need to consider a lot more factors. Number one is the money you would spend coming and going to Liberia to oversee your project. That alone is close to 10,000. The amount of things that free flight 15 minutes proof, what? Oh, okay. The amount of mishaps that will happen, it's going to be more than that $10,000 difference in the price that you bought the house for. The amount of people that will steal your zinc, the amount of people that will steal your nail, your wheelbarrow, your this, your that, and your cement and all of that stuff, the amount of headache, the phone calls, the sending the other person, giving the person someone to check on it, all of that is definitely going to come up more than that $10,000. So you buying a home in Liberia may think, oh, you're spending more money. This house is not worth that. Trust me, you're going to spend more money building your home in Liberia than buying your home. The same type of home in Liberia, right? What does that mean? And that just means we just need more housing, not so much for rent. Like I said, people are building all apartment units for rental and stuff. We need more housing that people can buy. Actually, just buy a home and live in it. Now, I've said this before. If you're not transitioning to Liberia, if you're not moving to Liberia in the next 5 years, don't build in Liberia. I'm telling you, don't build. Because a lot of you are building, maybe you have the funds right away, you build this huge magnificent home, you're not there, you can't move yet, you have families, you have jobs, you don't have a source of income yet in Liberia and stuff like that, and now you have this house sitting there, and again, family members living in there and deteriorating the home, this happening, the house is getting uglier and things like that, and you go there every once a year, twice a year and things like that, and it's just not worth it. Before you actually move to that country, your house just doesn't look the same, right? So what I'm saying though is you buy a smaller home, right, in Liberia until you move there, and you be living in that smaller home whilst taking your own time to build your dream home, because now you live in that country. You know things, you know prices, you're on site and things like that. And you can, after you're done, renovate, your smaller home at that time and sell it. Like I said, again, now this is like a circulating housing market that's going to be developing, right? Sell it and move to your dream home. And by that time, you already have your established business. By that time, you already have your source of income and everything in the country, and now you can move there. So these are like my recommendations, guys. Like I said, most of us are doing things on emotion, especially, like, I'll be honest, you go to Liberia a couple times, you fall in love again with your home country, you just want to do something, and people are following trends, people are following what people are doing, or just being led by the same old people who are doing the same thing over and over and stuff like that. So my recommendation is try either. Nobody's really talking about buying homes in Liberia. Everybody's just talking about building, you know, and people are just abandoning project here and there. Look, the stories I've had, even close to home, personally, my parents and most of you guys, family and friends, my friend, even somebody, a family member of Joel's, right, have now a project that is just abandoned, spent so much money, just left it, right? Somebody emailed me today, yesterday, before, called, text, like, I've started this project, it's costing way too much, this and this, I just left it, I abandoned it, right? So we don't want to do that. Look, my obligation here is to really let you guys in on things that are happening, like things the contrary to what everybody else is doing. We love to just do the same thing over and over. Secondly, I said this the last time, I'm afraid to talk about it again because people are always thinking you're hating and stuff like that. But guys, please, we need to change the style of homes you're building in Liberia. Please. We're all building the same type of home in Liberia. The house with a roof that goes way up in the air, the front porch, the Colombo, and just look, we need to change. We need to start building modern looking homes in Liberia. Like when you drive around, we need to see modern looking homes. We have the same people building the same type of homes everywhere. Most of you guys who are building now are building the same kind of homes that everybody else, right? We need to encourage, we need to force our architects in Liberia to think differently. This, like I said, people are just comfortable. They build the same kind of way. There's no innovation, and they just, to collect the money. They build the same type of home. Guys, we need to think differently. I said this the last time, but people think I'm hating, that's what people can afford and stuff like that. You can build a modern home for the same amount of money you used to build these same old looking homes that were being built since the 70s, right? So we just need to think differently. We need to look at modern, like look at other countries around us, right? It's not a bad thing to take inspiration from other countries around us. I said this, people are like, Liberian people, we sometimes we get too much pride. Or, oh, why are you comparing us to this country? Why are you comparing us? That's our own way and things. No, we got to think differently. You look at, I always use surrounding countries like Ghana, Nigeria, whatever it is. You see these homes, modern homes. It doesn't mean they got a lot of money. They're just thinking differently. Architects are doing different design. They're bringing more sustainable materials, cheaper materials, right? Recyclable materials. They're using different method and means to build, different style of building. It's going to cost you the same amount of money. So let's think about that, man. Let's stop building these homes with a roof that goes way up in the air. You spend so much money on zinc and using zinc that's going to rust in a couple years. And same style of home with a front porch and a Colombo and things like that. Look, I'm not hating. If that's what you're doing now, that's fine. It's okay. But I'm just saying, if you're looking to start a project, let's just start to think differently, in Liberia. I get a lot of heat when I said this. People always think I'm hating and this and that, but I'm not. Trust me, guys, I'm not. When you travel to other African countries, you're gonna look back and be like, man, that's when you really see, right? So let's do that. Let's circle back on the type of business I was talking about. When do you plan to permanently move to Liberia, next year or the next 2 years? Permanently moving to Liberia is a tricky thing, AJ. AJ is asking, when are we planning on moving? It's a tricky thing. I made a video about this the last time. It's a very tricky process because one is I've seen people move to Liberia and move back. I've seen people move to Liberia and move back a few years after. So it's tricky. You know, you can plan as much as you want, or you can have a timeline, but the country and the progress of things are going to determine, right? One is before we move permanently to Liberia, our source of income has to be very stable. It has to be strong. It has to be proven. We have to have a proof of concept, right? Something that's already working before we move to Liberia. Don't move to any African country and then go figure out what you can do to live. That's one of the mistakes people make. Don't move to any African country and then now before you go figure out what can I do to sustain myself. You need to have a sustainable business or source of income that is already generating income and that's proven, right? And that you can predict the foreseeable future that I'm going to make this amount of money this year, next year, and da before you move. Stop moving to Liberia before you go open your store, before you go establish your business. No, establish your business, have the business going, make money for the first year, see how customers are growing, at what rate customers are growing, what are your competitive advantage, what are your disadvantages, what are your struggles and everything. Do the whole analysis before you move to that country. Liberia is not an easy place to live. It's fun and it's home, it's all jolly, but when push comes to shove, you need a strong source of income, right? Medical, right? You need to be able to have enough money when something happens, you can afford to pay cash for the to get priority in Liberia medical wise, or you can afford to get on the plane and hop back here if you have a special medical condition that cannot be remedied in Liberia, to fly to somewhere else that can get it. You need to be readily cash violence. And we've been saying it a few times. You need cash violence in Liberia to be able to sustain. So you need to plan accordingly. So going back to that, and you can still work for these countries and stuff like that. There are a few countries, there are some countries that do it internationally. A few countries won't do it because of the laws, and things like that. If you live in a different country, taxes, all that stuff. But there's a lot of tech companies out there that will have employees all over the world. That's one great way to move to Africa and live like that. Shoot. I don't, sorry. Hey man, I don't have cash on me, man. Oh my gosh. There's this old lady, look like she's 80 years old. It's cold outside and she's asking for $3. Dang. Hey man, this thing where you in the country wouldn't carry any cash. Oh man, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Huh? The one that disappeared. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? The woman just disappeared. This is... Hold up. I gotta see where the woman go. There's no way the woman just asked me for money and then she just disappeared. Oh, yeah, over there. Hey, man. Oh, guys, man, I need to get some cash and give it to the woman. It's freezing outside. It's so cold outside, and she is freezing. Damn, I wonder where she's going. Very bad. I wonder what she needed money for. Maybe I can get it for her. Anyway, hopefully I think she's going in the store. Okay, so I don't know what I was saying. Oh, remote jobs. So yes, so you definitely can get a remote job in Liberia. Remote job. Make sure work for that company, see what you're making, make sure that job can be transferred to Liberia and then move. Like you said, AJ, you're right. That's one sure way of moving to Liberia and having that source of income. But also, of course, having savings. Jobs let people go. Nowadays, tech jobs can just let people go. More and more technology, AI, and things like that is happening. Tech jobs are letting people go and stuff like that. So the tech market is good, but that's something you need to do. Again, just really careful planning. If you're gonna move to Africa, Liberia, you need that planning. You need a plan. Like I said, I've seen people personally who move and come back, or who move and now it's like it's a rate, it getting shit. Let's see. Have you thought about, okay, so poultry and fish farming are lucrative? Morris, yes. So like I said, man, we building apartment building with stores in the bottom is good. It's great. Let's build it all over the place. That's gonna provide for housing and also a good economy of having local businesses in the area. But what I'm saying though is let's just do research. Let's do research and make sure that that area is not saturated, because that's all you see everywhere: apartments on top, stores on the bottom. Let's start looking at different opportunities, different business sectors in Liberia that we can explore, right? Like I said, one thing that should be the number one business sector in Liberia is agriculture, but that's like way down the bottom. Just a few people are exploring that sector, but that's a very lucrative business that you can do in Liberia. Simple things, simple thing like poultry farming, even chicken farm, simple things like that can get you a lot. So let's explore other things. If you are thinking about doing something in Liberia, I want to give you more ideas of what you can do in Liberia. So somebody said investment in transport and telecommunication. Okay, investment in transport and telecommunication. Well, one is telecommunication is going to be a tough one to get into. You need cash balance, because the two established telecommunication companies in Liberia are just rooted, very, very rooted in Liberia. They have a stronghold. They have some serious money that they've invested in that business, and it's household, right? So getting into the telecommunication space is going to take some innovative way of marketing your product, very trendy ways, because those companies are old school companies. They've been there forever. They don't. You need to hit a different audience. Maybe now hit more younger audience. Have something that's more tech friendly for the younger audience, more innovative, more jovial, something like that. To get into that space, you can get a small percentage of the market, which still can get you a good amount of money. But you do need to establish that, and you need to get into it in a very different way. You can't go the same route those big companies are going. You're gonna get crushed. uh Orange and Lone Star, they're not small companies. These companies, they're $1 million companies. So telecommunication is going to be a little tricky one to get into. But if you have an angle by which you can enter the market, yes, you can definitely do that. And you just have to have a competitive advantage. You have to have something that make you a little unique, and that's current, that's modern, that's very unique. Like example, how TikTok now is more popular. TikTok and Snapchat, all that stuff are more popular than Instagram. Facebook now is old school, right? Facebook is grandfather now. The younger generation are TikTok all day, Snap all day. So it's unique because they have a unique business model, that they came at. That's how they're able to conquer, right? And Facebook is now trying to catch up and stuff. So, but you said investment in transport. Transport is a great investment, always, all the time, especially now. But it depends on the kind of transport. It can't really be consumer transport, right? People, right? You can't. It's really not great, because like I said, first of all, the traffic is going to kill the business. You can't get from point A to point B. You know how people, for transportation and transporting people, the more money, how you're going to make more money is by doing more trips. But you're stuck in traffic for half the day, you can't do more trips. So transportation in people is really not the best way of going in Liberia. The roads has to be expanded, more routes has to be created. Right now, transportation companies, businesses are not making a lot of money in that country. I ain't gonna lie to you. However, if you're transporting materials for building, then that's where it comes in, right? So, like I said, you're transporting material for building, rock, sand, all that stuff in certain areas. and have a fleet of vehicles at a competitive price, yes, you're gonna make money all day, every day. Like I said, the revolution has already started. People are building like crazy. It's a race in Liberia. Everybody are building, which is great. That's what I like to see. That's what I've always been preaching, which is amazing. So transportation in that sector is great. Now, another transportation that people haven't, man, thought about, man, guys, there's a river in Liberia that runs from town all the way. What river is that? The St. Paul River, right? That runs all over that country. And there is not a single ferry in Liberia to transport goods and serve goods. Imagine transporting your goods all the way from in the interior. That river goes to different counties. You get a big ferry that will transport all these like oil, coal, this, that, everything. Instead of putting it on these trucks that take weeks, they break down in the mud. You gotta dig it. I mean, it just takes forever. A ferry runs through all of La Liberia there, St. Paul River, but there's no ferry. Like, come on, almost all our surrounding neighbors has ferry. Togo, Guinea, Nigeria, all of them, they have ferry that transport a lot of people. I made a video about this the last time. That was part of my thing. That was like way last year. I made that video, right? As part of the businesses I can establish. A ferry, like waterway transport. This might require serious capital and collaboration with the government. However, imagine the relief. Yeah, like I said, who is, oh shoot, what's going on? That's T Carter. That's exactly waterway transport is a way to go. That's gonna bring some serious investment. That's gonna bring some good money. Like you said, it's not, but here's the thing about Liberians, man. Like countries like Togo, not Togo, but Nigeria and South Africa, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, these guys has investment group. I think there are a couple investment groups in the Liberian community that I know of. I don't know how well they're doing. However, man, still thinking about that old man. However, I don't know how well they're doing, but investment groups here in the United States. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I live in Minnesota, and where I cut my hair, the barber where my barber is at. The last time when the barber then they just moved. They're not there no more. What happened is like a bunch of Asian people they created an investment group, and they are buying almost all the strip malls in where I'm in this area. All the strip malls, they're just buying the strip malls and either renting out to tenant or they're bringing like Asian cuisine, Asian store and stuff like that, renting out to people in their community. So there are investment groups that are really doing it. I don't really see a lot of investment in most of these estates and things and big businesses in Ghana, Nigeria. They're all investment groups. People in the diaspora can come together, work together, create an investment group, right? People, more, few people together can go farther than just one person. So create an investment group. Everybody put some good money. You have some money saved. Maybe, everybody put 25,000 each or whatever it is. You have like 10 people or whatever it is. Bring about half a million or 200,000 and stuff like that. Create that. Let's say you have a 5 to 10 years plan where everybody you recoup your investment, and from there, all investors now making money going forward. Look, guys, time is gonna pass anyways. 10 years is gonna pass no matter what you do. So why don't you create something that within 10 years time, which is a little bit, it's a longer time to get your money back, but you will get it back, and after that, you start making residuals. 10 years is gonna pass no matter what you do, right? So you might as well do it. So create an investment group that can like explore this hard to hit sectors, that very lucrative sectors in Liberia that require some cash violence, right? So that's something that we need to do. So like I said, portrait, somebody said Liberia needs to be creative and work together and just copy and paste from countries like, yeah, this is like I said, man, who is this at? That's Nate. Nate, look, I said this before. When I mentioned this, I have a few people who will always be like, oh, why are you comparing? Oh, look, copy is not a bad thing. Copy and pasting, countries do it. Look, I've made this example the other time. Look at Apple and Samsung. All they do is just copy and paste from each other. All they do, right? One year, Samsung just copied the whole Apple, everything. The other year, Apple was the first. They copied all the Samsung, everything, the way they look, they did everything. It's not a bad thing to copy and paste. We can look at Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, all these countries and just copy, 100% copy from there and paste. Copy and paste, not a bad thing until we can figure our own and start being more creative, right? It's not a bad thing, but we Liberians, like I said, sometimes we're too prideful, be like, oh, why are we gonna copy from other people and this and that, all that stuff. T Carter, instead of majority Liberian diaspora focusing on government jobs, we need to redirect. Yeah, like I said, everybody is just focusing on government job. Everybody want to go run a campaign, so when the government win. Like I said, man, that's most of all we Liberian. That's our goal, is to be part of some kind of party that's going to win election, and then now you have some government job, you big shot, you drive around with a siren on your car, and you get money that you really not even putting a lot of money effort in to do. Right? That's most of us Liberian. That's our dream, especially we Liberian men. That's our dream. But like you said, T Carter, is to think differently. You know what I mean? That's not the only way to go. Let's think differently, come together, be more creative, and also create a sector, that we can thrive in, and things like that. So, like I said, man, let me see what else somebody said. My friend have planned Waterway, transport and courier services. Miata, definitely transport and courier services is good. Investment opportunities. Miata said, how about investment opportunities in Liberia? Poultry and fish farming. Liberia need affordable modern houses, but there's no company building them. That's true. That's true. Just a few, but that's like less than 1% of the housing market in Liberia. But we need more of that. We need more affordable modern houses in Liberia. Because like I said, more and more of us, you guys, myself, need to buy. I recommend, man, like only a few people I recommend to build your own house in Liberia. I'm telling you, stop building in Liberia. I know, I mean, I can't say this, but at the same time, there's not a housing market in Liberia that people are selling houses, right? So I cannot tell you not to build, but then if you want to go buy, there's nothing, right? So I get it. But what I'm saying though is, if you're gonna build, it has to be strategically. You can't just throw your money in the country, work hard for your money, throw it in Liberia, and then have people tell you how much things cost and progress and things like that, right? It it's not going to work like that. There are more and more houses being built for sale in Liberia now. Just it's not that many at all, guys. But let's start thinking, at least thinking about that option, right? And stuff like that. But let's go back to agriculture. Liberians. Agriculture has to be the number one sector that we're exploring in Liberia, guys. It has to be the number one sector that we're exploring in Liberia. Um, yeah, man, there's so many things that just shock me in Liberia that is crazy. Look, one thing that I would say though, like for instance, let's talk about rice, right? One thing I would say though is, I don't know, like, because the company that provide rice in Liberia is a very big company. I mean, these people make millions of US dollars in Liberia, and they have some kind of coalition with the government or government official, whatever it is. So you, as a smaller company doing rice in Liberia to sell and stuff, you may reach a few roadblocks, right? As far as really distribution. But like I said again, if a few Liberians come together with some cash violence, they can do it. You don't have to be the number one. You can be number two, number three, number four. You will still make a lot of money, because that's something that's not going to go away. People eat rice in Liberia every day so much. That's like investing in something that you're sure to get your money, right? You're sure to make a return. That's something, those are the kind of businesses you want to get into, right? Because people eat rice every single day in Liberia. And if people, and the rice being sold in Liberia, yours is probably going to be cheaper, one, because it's locally. You don't have to import it. You don't have to, consider all the tariff and taxes and all of that stuff, port fees and everything. That's part of 1 cup of rice. The price of that 1 cup includes all of those things, right? So you know, first of all, the manufacturer has to make the money and pay for all their fees and transport and everything. The person you're buying from is like the third person down. They probably bought it from a middleman, a wholesaler who added profit. That person added profit on top. Think about the layers of, people that involved that needs to make money off of that 1 cup, right? So food is just getting more and more expensive in Liberia, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was shocked. I would say 40% of our budget in Liberia went to food, right? I love to cook.
I went to the market every time. Sometimes when I leave the market, I be thinking like, man, like how do these people afford it? I was in Liberia, I was thinking I'll take $15 US to the market and just buy everything I need. I'll go over there and spend like 40 US dollars to 50 US dollars to cook. I mean, people are not even making let's start this car now. People are not even making people are making like $50 a month, $60, $75 a month. And I'm going to the market and I'm spending 50, $40 to buy food. So I'm just like, man, it's crazy. And that's because Africa, man, Liberia, it shouldn't be like that. Food should be the least amount of thing in that country. The least. Food should be the least in that country that people should worry about or pay more for. You know, it should be the least. What people should pay more for are like, you know, electronics and things that are being brought from outside. Food should not be like a challenge in Liberia, in Africa. It shouldn't be. You know, so we just need to focus on agriculture more and more. Other countries are doing it. Other countries are shifting to agriculture more. Liberia should be exporting things out of Liberia. That increase the GDP of Liberia. That increase the average income in Liberia. Liberia should be exporting things out of Liberia, guys. Oh my gosh. But we're over there relying on imports for things that can be grown in our country. So that when I went to Liberia the few times, I was just like, I was just amazed. Like, man, I was amazed. I was confused. I was so confused. Like, I cannot believe this. But again, you know, the average Liberian is not even thinking about doing that. You know, I mentioned this last time, and you know, I mentioned this several times. How the people from all the way up in the interior can come to red light into the city to buy coal. What? To buy coal, bag of coal. When they're coming from Kakatan area, they come to red light to the junction, which is the city in Morovia, to buy coal. You what? You're all the way up there with all the land and everything. You can just burn your own coal. But like we're so used to formalities, and it's it all comes with education and things like that. So we have ways to go. But like I said, I mentioned this last time. The younger folks are being more innovative. Let me talk about this lastly here before I go. Somebody commented one of the videos the last time, and a few comments I've gotten from that Liberia was better way back then than it is today. Oh, and it said the country has not changed at all since 30 years ago to now. The country hasn't changed at all. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that, like completely. Things that are being done in Liberia today, you know, people want to associate it with government, how, you know, post-war Liberia, you know, Liberia was a fun time and things, but no matter where, maybe unless some country right now is going through some heavy current war, you know, like Ukraine and things like that, you can say, yes, Ukraine was better years ago than it is today, of course. But countries that haven't experienced war, let's say in the past 30 years, any country you pick is more progressive, is better today than it was before. Things Liberians are doing. I talk about, and the person said, oh, like, give me an example. I'm talking about, and I gave a lot of example. Top businesses that are being established in Liberia are being established by Liberians. Liberians have been more exposed to the outside world due to social media. Social media is, back then compared to today, was non-existent. Young folks in Liberia, the plans I've seen for these people, right? It's not like back then there was all these avenues of people to get business loans. It's the same, right? So nowadays it's just more progressive. People are thinking more forward. Liberians' eyes are opening. The amount of people who are going back and pouring money and talking about investment opportunities today, they're more than they were before, right? So the country is better today than it was before. There's no way anybody can say it wasn't, right? I get it. People like the nostalgia. They like the, you know, pre-war Liberia. You know, it was Fontaine, Normandy, and things like that. But look, Liberia today is more progressive than Liberia before, just based on the fact of the world. The world is progressing in every sector. So Liberia definitely is, right? The way we Liberians are thinking now, we're not even thinking like that before, right? The amount of businesses. What are the Omaya man? Hey, man. Let the woman there, man. The woman is so cool. I don't have no cash on me. It's so cold outside. Yeah, man, they think really. Where's she going? It's freezing outside, and she is shivering. Where is she going? America is crazy, man. What are Oma doing outside? Me in Liberia, you can just go, you pick up the Oma. I go right now, I go pick her up, ask her what she need, and take her somewhere. But I go do that one right now. They can't tell me I'm a black man. They can't say I kidnapped this woman. Look, America is a tricky place. That's why Africa is different. That you can go. That Oma, where you going? Oh, you know, you pick up the Oma and da over here. That's somebody grandma, 80-year-old. But I can't pull her in my car, and something happened to her now. Boom, I'm going to jail for 10 to 20 years, and no, we can talk her out of that. I'm serious. This country is just weird. Somebody can be on the side of the road dying and nobody will stop to help because you don't want to kind of get in some kind of trouble, especially as a black man in this country, man. That's why more and more people are leaving diaspora as a whole. You know what I mean? The more and more African American people, like these African Americans, when they go back to Africa, they're like, oh my goodness, this place exists. I mean, you feel different, you know. So I would love to put that woman in the car in this with this heat and everything. Ask her where she going, get her there, you know. But I can't put that woman in the car and something happen. They say, "Oh, I kidnapped her," and things like that. And I don't buy. I'm small thing. You not small money going to spend a lawyer to prove your innocence. This country is weird, bro. This country is so weird. Most people can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of here. And you know, you don't have to do all of this, man. But anyways, I mean, ask me another thing. I come and go on people. What's good? What else? So I'm managing 850 acres in Zolowu Township, Lofa County, only utilizing 50 acres, but we're trying. Okay, great, man. We should be exporting cocoa coffee. That's true. We did that as well. You are telling the truth. I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, so Nate, that's great, man. You know, they say he's managing 850 acres. That's a lot, and utilizing 50. That's great. That's amazing. That can be used for so many different things. We're doing similar thing in Barovia as well. We're managing about 50 acres. We're establishing something on about 5 acres right now that I'm going to announce later on and things like that. But yeah, man. But anyways, what's up, guys? I see all of you guys on here. Let me know what's good. What else you want to know? What are questions? We're back in Liberia very soon. It's just weird now. I mean, now when I go to Liberia, I always post. Miara said, Nate, sell me some. Yeah, Nate. Hey, if it's for sale, hit Miara, you're getting connection. You know, let's see what I can do. But when I go to Liberia nowadays, I don't say exactly when I'm gonna be there anymore. Because the first time I went there, everything was so like online, the date I was going, everything was so excited. And when I went there and the things that happened, the people in the store, I feel like they knew what we're bringing. I've already posted what we're bringing, the picture, everything. So nowadays when I go to Liberia, usually when I'm already leaving, that's when I start posting. So, you know, I don't know, man. It's just weird. But anyways, so experience Liberia. So what do you think about aqua farming? Aqua farming. Experience Liberia. What is aqua farming? I don't know what that is. Is it like fish farming or something? I don't know. What is aqua farming? But whatever it is, sounds interesting. What is aqua farming? Is it like fish farming or farming water? What is aqua farming? I don't know what that is. So what is aqua farming? Let me see if experience. How I'm asking what is aqua farming. The other person can put big word, Nate. What is aqua farming? I don't know what aqua farming is. Then he's respond hydroponic farming. How am I supposed to know what that one is? I don't even know what aqua farming is. Oh, aqua farming, like farming in water, right? Oh yes, fish farming in your backyard. Oh yeah. That's what I mentioned. Fish farming is great. That's one of the great sector to go into. Trust me.
is lucrative. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially if you pair that with cold storage. If you pair that with cold storage, you can definitely mass mass fish farm. And it's fish farming, I'm not gonna lie, it's not too expensive to get started with. It's really not. You need a knowledge though. You do need a knowledge of what kind of fish to farm, the illnesses, food, feeding, temperature wise, all that stuff. And you do need that knowledge. That's why the agriculture sector, education wise, should be big in Liberia. Like I said again, I know I say government, da 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 da, but most of it is on us. But that's something too the government can invest in, creating agricultural program for the youth to get into, because not a lot of people want to get into agriculture. I don't know, it's just not a lot of people want to be a farmer. It just don't sound sexy, you know what I mean? Everywhere, every part of the world, people want to be doctors and lawyers. Nobody want to go into agriculture, which is very lucrative. Even in America, these farmers make a lot of money. These farmers are, most of these millionaires are farmers in this country. Same thing in Africa too. So I think just the knowledge, because we do need the knowledge. If the government can invest into programs for the youth and to get into agriculture, so people can start learning and being interested in it, that's something I can do. But fish farming for sure, that's a good business to get into. There's an abundance of land in Liberia, great weather. People can get into that. So Millionaire Maine said, I heard Liberia was a big lumber producer. Okay, so why is it? Yeah, so that's one thing too. Like I said, Liberia should be exporting things. You know what I mean? Liberia was a big lumber producer. Liberia should be exporting lumber. That's something right there that we can definitely utilize. People are building in Liberia and utilizing just local wood, local lumber, local woodwork and stuff like that, just from the area. So there's a vast land in Liberia. We just got to get into a program where we cut down and replant, cut and plant, cut and replant, and and yeah, so we can definitely get into that sector and export and stuff like that, man. The police are just circling around here. I don't know. America is a weird place, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just weird, man. You just gotta be just walking the eggshell with everything, which is not a bad thing though, but I'm just saying. Yeah, so lumber, definitely for sure, that's a good business to get into. So Millionaire Maine. So low startup cost, experience Liberia. It's a low startup cost for fish farmers. It's definitely low startup cost. Miera said, why did you say that transport of people not a good investment? So Miera, I mentioned, I went into details earlier, but I'll just say again, transporting of people is not a good investment because one of the road condition, number one, whatever vehicle you're using is going to break down quickly. One, two, traffic is insane. In order to make a lot of money in transporting of people, you need to make a lot of trips, right? And you're gonna be stuck in traffic. You talk to taxi drivers and everybody else over there, and I've been there, of course, several times. You would know that they're making less and less and less money because more and more cars are coming on the road. The road is still the same. It's not expanded in a lot of places. The road condition is still bad. It's being fixed now, but it's still bad, and the traffic is crazy. So transporting of people, you're gonna have a lot less trips, which means a lot less money, and the road is so bad, your car is gonna undergo a lot of damages throughout the time. So you're really not gonna make a lot of money back on it. It's a slow start. It's good business for, you're living in Liberia, living a real local life. You can get your food money every day from transporting of people. Every day your driver can bring money to you. You can get a little bit of money here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as doing a business where you'd be like, yeah, I'm making good money, it's not it. Patrick said we just started our farm in Bummy. Okay. Penton Farms. What is Penton? Bummy Penton. Bummy Penton Farms? Patrick, what does that mean? But we just started our farm in Bummy. What is Penton Farms? Patrick, what is that? I'm curious to know what is Penton Farms. But yes, farming. AJ, you put a lot of question mark on here. What does that mean? Experience Liberia said it's big for tilapia and catfish, and will cut back on importing. Yeah. Tilapia and catfish, that's for sure. And like I said, man, that will cut down on importing things. importing things in Liberia, fish and stuff in Liberia, the local market. That's, Liberia, we like that. If you eat fish every day, if anything, that's what is cooked every day. Probably a little more than meat because meat is more expensive. Fish and chicken is what is being bought in the market the most, but fish is the number one as far as like protein for your food and stuff like that. Fish is the number one. People buy fish more. If you go to the market, you don't have a lot of money, you're gonna buy fish instead of meat. So fish is consumed on a mass scale every day, just like rice. The fish is in every Liberian dish. If you have less money, you're gonna buy fish instead of meat. Meat is more expensive, right? That's one thing there as well. So Patrick said we started. Okay, so Patrick said chicken portrait. Oh, that one is, it was Penton Farms. Chicken portrait, that's for sure. We need more of those. That's great. Bowman is a great area to start that. Chicken farming is a great business. You may get a little bit of a slow start in the beginning, but it's gonna pick up the more you expand the farm and things like that. And especially if you have a few vendors that you can just directly bring to more and more good restaurants are coming. The market area is expanding with that and stuff like that. So, that's for sure. I don't know if you're selling the. Oh yeah, of course you're selling the live chicken to people, and then they cook it and stuff like that. But if you're able to again mass produce chicken, process them and store them in a cold storage, that's a great way to sell them in bulk to people and places and stuff like that. So, oh, that's the name of the farm, Penton Farms. Okay, I see. Why you ignore my previous question? I want your opinion. AJR. I don't. What question is that? Let me see. AJR says. Okay. I don't see the question, AJ. Damn, I'm going all the way back. I don't see the question though. The only question I see here is talking about remote jobs, and I've talked about that. So what question are you talking about? Yeah. So yeah, guys, ask me any questions. 2023, more updates. Like I said, more things are happening in Liberia. The country is moving forward. People who haven't been back in a long time are nervous. I talked to somebody yesterday. She said she's planning on going. She's starting a project, but she's very nervous. It's natural. We left that country by running away. You know what I mean? So if you're going back to somewhere you ran away from, most of us, if you're older, that is, the younger folks who came here left, recently doing good times and stuff. Most of us, if you're older, if you're over 30, 35 and stuff like that, you came here mostly running away. So you're going to be a little nervous going back, so that's natural. But I recommend everybody to go back to Liberia. No matter how it is, even if the experience was bad, you still want to go back. Like you guys saw last 2021 when I came back, I made that first video. Very sad, but immediately after that, just a few days, weeks after that, I really wanted to go back. It's just nowhere like home. So Ned said, how do you think the election will affect business in 2024? Honestly, I don't think it's really going to have an impact. That's something that's just when it comes to Africa, that's just two completely different things that almost never really tie into each other, because the way of doing business in Liberia has just been consistent throughout. Whoever replaced the next person is going to come and do the same thing. So during this present time, during that present time, when it comes to business in Liberia, like countries like the US and stuff like that, there's a direct correlation, especially when it comes to business, like taxation and this and that and all of that stuff. Directly in Liberia, most businesses don't pay tax. Few do, and this and that. And a lot of the laws and things, they really don't affect businesses. People are going to do the same thing the same way, right? Even if a new administration come in place, get rid of everybody else and put a new people there, most of the new people are going to do the same process procedure as the old people. Especially if you put a few new people in a department with old people, those people are going to mandate the same process and procedure, unless you come and sweep out every single person, bring open-minded, very sincere new people in administration their own way. But other than that, I don't think the election of this 2024 is going to. Election is 2024. I thought election was this year. But anyways, yeah, I don't think it's really going to affect businesses at all. Business is going to be going as usual, and unless a new administration come in place or current administration decided to really focus on business, private sector, create laws and avenues like business loans, business education, creating just direct correlation things that will affect business. Other than that, I don't see that affecting business at all in 2024. Let's say election. Liberia says Liberia need a recycling center to transform the trash into viable product. Look, experience Liberia. That's what I was talking about. Trash can be used for so many things. Trash can be used for electricity. Trash can be used for building material. Trash can be used for roofing. Trash can be used for so many things. Somebody mentioned earlier, copy and paste. Other countries are doing it. Those trash and stuff in Liberia, they can be used for electricity. In fact, somebody emailed me and said, "Do you sell Montreal?" What? I don't know what that means. All right, I'll go back. Yeah. So that's definitely something that can be used for so many things. There are companies that I was in Ghana. I talked to a company that make very nice roofing that lasts like 30 years, but they make it from trash. They make it from recyclable material. So like I said, man, we just need to think outside, man. We're just thinking the same, and it's frustrating a little bit when we talk about it. People bash you, they say you're hating and this and that, but we just got to think different, man. We got to think different. There are people really doing it out there. They're doing that's something. Everybody's putting zinc on top of their house in Liberia. We should get rid of zinc. Why are we putting zinc on top of our houses in Liberia? Man, it's like a guarantee. It's like you're investing money to something that's guaranteed to fail. Zinc don't last. The weather is so harsh in Liberia sometimes, from going from the rain to the heat and all of that stuff, the zinc are going to rust. Right away, your house started to look ugly when the zinc, and especially those houses that put the zinc all the way up like that, like I said, and the first thing you notice is the zinc when you're walking up to the house. Like I said, build differently. Nowadays, nobody should be seeing zinc. Build homes with a hidden roof, where you build the house, but the zinc cannot be seen. You build it, it look like it's casted, but it's not. But the zinc, even if that zinc start to rust, it's not visible. Why are we still building the same looking houses everywhere, man? Look, I'll be honest now. Y'all can bash me all y'all want, but we got to change the way we're building. Huge house, Colombo, Porsche, zinc all the way. The zinc can be so tall on top of the house. Why? Why are we building that? You can even build another house in the damn zinc. In the zinc. We got to build differently, man. People are building modern looking homes. It's not going to cost way more. It's the same amount of money. We shouldn't even be using zinc, recyclable material. There are companies that use recyclable trash and stuff that they change into very durable material that you can put on top of your house and it lasts for forever. It's okay, man. People will say I'm hating. Along with cleaning up broken down cars and crap, yeah. So Samba CFC said Liberia need to focus on producing our own food. We have the water. Oh, Samba, you probably just joining, but yes, I 100% agree. That's what I was talking about. I think I spent 30 minutes talking about it. We have to produce our own food. There should be absolutely zero reason why we're importing food in Liberia. Fish, this, all kind of thing. We should not. But nobody wants to be a farmer in Liberia. I ain't gonna lie. It's with the diaspora. Most of you people, you're hearing people saying, "Oh, you see, I'm establishing a farm, fish farm." All of these farm thing is mostly people from diaspora, because we're exposed to certain things, right? Most people from that. All the fish farming. No, you're fine, somebody. You're fine. Thank you for joining. I'm just saying, but no, you're fine. But you're right. I agree with you, definitely, for sure. We got to import our own food. Like I said, what was I saying? But yeah, so most of the people are diaspora people who are doing fish farming. Nobody really wants to be a farmer in Liberia. I ain't gonna lie to you. The type of work people want to do in Liberia doesn't involve farming. Nobody want to go on a farm and things like that. Nobody want to be a farmer. Everybody want to drive big cars and be in the government. That's the way to go. You be in the government. You know what I mean? You go to work. You go to the office for a few hours. You wake up late. You go to the work. I met one of the ministers in Liberia. It was funny. I met this guy. I want to get some food. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. The man sitting there drinking beer. And I asked him if he was work. I was doing something. He was helping me do something. But he said he was going to work. And he was sitting there at someone in a little shop drinking beer. He said, "Come go to work." It's 10 o'clock. And he's going to go to the office. He leave around 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? This is the kind of work people want. It's big shot.
You drive around, you tint your car, you put siren on it, you drive around, you go to the office, you get a lot of money every month, and you barely do anything. So nobody really want to be farmers in Liberia. So it's people in the diaspora who are doing farms in Liberia, which is amazing. I really think we should do that. Thank you, Samba. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. But yeah, man. So that's what it is. Again, like I said, we've hit 10,000 subscribers. It's a big milestone. It's amazing, man. If you haven't subscribed yet, please though. It really helps. I ain't gonna lie to you. We spend so much energy, time, and money for this channel. It's not even joke. It's not easy. And the fact that we don't live in Liberia, so it's hard for us at this channel. There are other channels who are upcoming, which is amazing. I watch them, I support them, but they all live they all live in Liberia. So it's good. It's good because then you have content every day. You can just get up and go outside and go places. But we don't live there, so before we get content for you guys, we spend up to $7,000 to $8,000 to go and get content for y'all. So the least you can do is just subscribe to the channel, and that's it. I mean, it helps a lot. Help the channel grow, that's for sure. David says somebody is gonna become rich if they start a chain of stores like Herb and Publix or Food Lion. I don't know any of the stores you're mentioning, but I think I get the idea of one of these, a chain of grocery stores. So David, is it gonna be, what are these stores? Do they sell, is it like, because none of these stores I think we're in the Midwest, in Minnesota, I don't know, none of them are here, but what kind of store is it? Like grocery stores that sell food and stuff, or is it kind of something like Walmart that just sells everything? Because it depends, because certain things that you sell are not going to be bought in the quantity that you think when it comes to Liberia. So what are the stores? Is it grocery stores or what? Keep doing what you're doing. If you're in LA, say hello. Oh, Nate. Okay. Appreciate it. Guess what? I'm gonna be in LA next week, actually. So I don't know which part of LA you are at, but man, I love to meet some of my subscribers. I'm not gonna lie, when I travel. But we're actually traveling to LA next week. We're doing our first wedding out there for this year. You guys all know we do a lot of weddings all over the world, in Australia, Liberia, Ghana, here in the US and stuff like that. So we're gonna be starting off this year, 2023, our wedding season in LA. So we're gonna be out there actually next week. So I don't know, I'm gonna hit you up for sure. I don't know which part of David said food stores. Yeah, so okay, food stores, a chain of food stores. What kind of food you're selling though? Is it processed food or what kind of food? Because it depends. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you start a chain of food stores in Liberia, it depends on what you're selling. If you're selling processed, because there are supermarkets and stuff in Liberia that people do go to. I'm not gonna lie, they are usually packed with people. People do go there and they buy a lot of stuff. Liberian people love pledge. They love to buy things that are, juices and this and that, biscuit, like different things. So yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, that's for sure. I can see that. But it depends on the area. You're gonna have to put it in an area, certain area, and those areas already do have those kind of stores. You can't put that stores in Broadville. You can't put that store in Caldwell. You can't put that store in like Kakata and things like that. Those store has to be in the heart of the city, because unfortunately that's what Liberia is. Everybody has concentrated in the city. It's so overcrowded and stuff. So that's where you're gonna have to put those stores, and there are already stores like that in that area. So you're gonna have to come with a different angle again, with a unique business model and stuff like that to be able to sustain. But those kind of stores you're talking about can't be put anywhere in Liberia. Unfortunately, everybody's concentrated in one area. You can go to Grand Bassa and things like that. There's bigger population and stuff there. But other than that, yeah, it's gonna be a little tough. The country too is not that big, so, and there are not major cities everywhere. There are just a couple major cities in Liberia. Everywhere else is just a little bit rural. So yeah, it's gonna be a little tough, but it's definitely possible. There are still places in Monrovia that you can do that, and that business is gonna work.
So David said Western style food that we're all used to. Yeah, like I said, those Western style food are gonna be in the heart of the city where all the Western people are, and they already do have stores like that that are making a lot of money, but they're all Lebanese owned. All Lebanese owned. You should see how they treat the Liberian employees. Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Whew. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you know, people in Liberia work 7 days a week, right? No, no, 6 days a week. You know, here everybody the standard working time. You know, working 5 days, 2 day off. No, almost everybody in Liberia work like a 10-hour day, 6 days a week with 1 day off. Poof, boy, that's some serious stuff right there. So yeah, the Lebanese stores that over there, the way they treat, the Liberian employees, not smart thing. Jesus, the way they treat. I mean, I can speak real Liberian. When the men is standing on top of the employee, they're not smart thing. I mean, it feel like you're in prison. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I get it. Some people, try to take 1 or 2 things and stuff, but shoot, I don't know, man. And most, now, I'm not calling names or nothing like that, but some of them really be mistreating, especially the women that live there. Almost most people in Liberia that have women employed and be brushing the women. And I ain't gonna lie. So, like I said, when I live in Liberia and I have a woman in Liberia, she's gonna be working in my business, not somebody else's. Because most women in Liberia, unless like you very strong minded and you really got what it takes, but if you're just average looking for a job and you're good looking, boss man will want you first. Yeah, and most of the boss men and boy men are eating it, yeah. So it's a little tough. Um, I had to go off on some of those Lebanese dudes. That's for sure. Look, like I said, man, I have a lot of Lebanese people that I work with. That are good people, but I'm not gonna lie, there are a good number of them that are really they just treat Liberians like trash. But there are a few of them that are really good-hearted people. They've been living there for a long time. They've integrated into the system, in the culture and things like that too. So, um, all right, guys. Any more questions so I can dip? Modern farming equipment for the people to produce food. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's one thing that's lacking: modern farming equipment. That's why there's not a large-scale farming in Liberia, because the equipment is just mediocre. We need like real missionaries, you know what I mean? Like those tractors and those weed whackers and all of that stuff to do some serious work in Liberia as far as farming. Um, but yeah, any other questions, guys? Let's do Q&A, a couple for like 5-10 minutes, maybe personal questions. I have a lot of people inbox me, not inbox, send emails or ask me questions about just me or what I'm doing and things like that, or us, myself and Joel and things like that. Every now and then I like to have my audience know me more. Also, it's how do you call it? Bilateral. What do you call it? It's a one way knowing, because I can't see y'all, but still, I would like to feel like most of y'all, especially subscribers, know me, and and stuff like that. Because we're also doing another meet and greet this year in Liberia. Last year was 2 years ago, right? It was great. Was it last year? I think it was last year, or maybe yeah, last year. We did a meet and greet. A lot of you guys showed up, which was amazing. This year we're gonna do the same, and so yeah, it'll be great to meet you guys and get to see you, man. But I think I've been sitting here for a while. 80 minutes is how many? 60, so an hour and 20 minutes. It's gotten dark, but anyways, I get up in come and go. I cooked. What did I cook? Oh, yeah, I cooked a big pot of pepper soup, but also I cooked fried okra. Yeah. But anyways, that's it, guys. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I'm posting new videos pretty soon, and thank you guys for coming through. Like I said again, appreciate you guys, all of y'all. 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. It's a good milestone. So thank you guys. Matthew said, could you make a video on your Liberia house update? Yes, that's coming. I'm uploading that soon. It's just the next few months. It's just gonna be all about housing, Liberia housing projects, our projects, what we have going on, everything. It's just gonna be a lot of video, and we're gonna be on ground. It's gonna be about land process, land buying, places to buy, recommendations, contractors, builders, houses to buy, people to help you build, all of that stuff. That's this year is just gonna be mainly those. So those videos are coming, man, and that's, I think, is very important. Like I said, the revolution have started, so I might as well play a major part of it in helping you guys navigate. So yes, Matthew, I'm definitely gonna do that. Those videos are coming pretty soon. But there it is, guys. I gotta go. I'm gapping a hungry byway, so let me go find something to eat. I'm see you guys in the next one, guys. Let's get it.